Well, this video was inevitable, wasn't it? Now, as many of you know, I am quite the certified Steven Spielberg fan. In fact, he and Wes Anderson are two of my biggest inspirations into wanting to make films. So, to celebrate this legendary filmmaker's legacy, I am going to be ranking all 34 of his movies. And no, I'm not counting Twilight Zone the movie since he did not fully direct that one. I'm only counting films that he fully directed. So, without further ado, let's begin to dig through this wonderful director's filmography. In last place, we got The Lost World Jurassic Park. This is, in my opinion, without a doubt, the weakest film in his entire filmography. But, it is not a bad movie. I'll just get this right out of the gate. I don't think he's directed a bad movie, in my opinion. Even the bottom 5, I don't think are bad movies. I just think they're bad when compared to his filmography. But I will admit this is the only film in his filmography that I think is just okay. My biggest problem with this movie is the fact that it kinda lacks the signature Spielberg magic that you would usually see in his other movies. Along with having a dull story, characters that range from decent to just stupid, and effects that just aren't as good as they were in the original. Again, personally, I don't think this is a bad movie. I think it's just okay. I just think it's bad when compared to his other films. But I will take this movie over Green Book any day of the week. Ugh. In 33rd place, we got the BFG. Okay, starting with the BFG, I think all these movies are good. I just think that some are better than others. This film, in my opinion, is a decent adaptation of the original Roald Dahl book. And even though the giants look kinda creepy, I will admit the effects are pretty good. In 32nd place, we got The Post. This one mostly suffers from having not really great characters and having one of John Williams' weaker scores, even though it's still good. But it does have a good story, and Tom Hanks gives it a pretty good performance. In 31st place, we got Always. This is one of those movies where even though I like it, I wouldn't really want to rewatch it again. But it still has good performances, good directing, and great cinematography, so that's a plus. In 30th place, we got 1941. This is commonly considered to be his worst movie, although if you can tell by this placement, I disagree. Although it does have some problems like a dull story and having hit or miss jokes. In 29th place, we got Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is definitely the weakest of the 4 Indiana Jones films that Spielberg directed, but I still like it. It still has an enjoyable story, great cinematography, awesome action, and I'm always going to applaud this movie for bringing back the original actress from the first movie. In 28th place, we got Munich. Although it is the weakest of his historical dramas, I still really like this movie. It still has great direction, great cinematography, and a great score. In 27th place, we got Bridge of Spies. Even though I couldn't really get into this one, I still think this is a really good movie with great cinematography, great acting, and a good story by the Coen brothers. In 26th place, we got Amistad. This is Spielberg's first film under the DreamWorks banner, and I gotta say, it's a really good movie. It has a great story, great characters, great acting, great cinematography. Pretty much almost everything about this film is great. In 25th place, we got Duel. Well, here it is, Spielberg's first full-length feature film, and I gotta say, even from the start, he had a lot of potential. The story and cinematography in this movie are great, I just feel like the characters could have been a little bit better. Although this was the first film Spielberg ever directed, so I'll give it a pass. In 24th place, we got Lincoln. This is the final Spielberg film I saw in preparation for this ranking, and it was certainly a good one. Great story, great characters, great cinematography, and Daniel Day-Lewis is a pretty good Lincoln. In 23rd place, we got his version of West Side Story. While I personally prefer the original 1961 film, this is still a really good movie and a good adaptation of the original 1957 musical, with great cinematography. In 22nd place, we got War Horse. While certainly not the best war movie he's made, this is certainly a really good movie. In 21st place, we got Ready Player One. This is another Spielberg film that people rank among the worst of his filmography, and I honestly don't understand why. Yeah, it has a lot of references, but in my opinion at least, it all but makes up for it for its great story and likable characters. In 20th place, we got The Terminal. How come I like the Spielberg films that people rank among the worst of his filmography? Like, I don't understand why. I mean, this is a really good movie. In 19th place, we got The Color Purple. For his first time doing a historical drama, I must say he did a really good job, and Whoopi Goldberg really does a good performance for her first role. In 18th place, we got War of the Worlds. A really great film with great characters, a good story, and revolutionary special effects done by the fine people at Industrial Light and Magic. In 17th place, we got AI, Artificial Intelligence. What was originally meant to be a Stanley Kubrick film managed to turn into a really good Spielberg film. Though I won't lie, I would have loved to see what this movie would have been like if Kubrick directed it. In 16th place, we got Minority Report. Nothing really to say about this one other than it's a really great film with revolutionary special effects. In 15th place, we got The Adventures of Tintin. This is a really great animated film from Spielberg and a really good adaptation of the original Belgian comics. In 14th place, we got The Sugarland Express. While Duel was Spielberg's first feature film, this was his first feature film to get a wide release, and I gotta say, this is a really great movie. In 13th place, we got Hook. Yet another Spielberg film people rank among the worst of his filmography. Even Spielberg himself doesn't like this one. But I personally disagree, as I think this is a really fun and enjoyable movie. In 12th place, we got Empire of the Sun. This is a really great movie with an outstanding first-time performance for Christian Bale. In 11th place, we got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. While it is the weakest of the original trilogy, this is still a really great movie with a great first-time performance for Ke Huy Quan. Now, let's move on to the top 10. In 10th place, we got Close Encounters of the Third Kind. While I do think it's a little bit overrated, I still really love this movie, and it was definitely revolutionary for its time. In 9th place, we got Catch Me If You Can. This is a really great movie, and in my opinion, has some of the best acting from Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. In 8th and 7th place, we got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark. These two are both amazing movies and show why Indiana Jones is one of the greatest action heroes of all time. In 6th place, we got Jurassic Park. This film is such a revolutionary piece of work and is definitely a legendary movie. In 5th place, we got Jaws. What can I say? This is the film that made Spielberg a household name, and it's definitely an amazing movie. In 4th place, we got Saving Private Ryan. This is such a phenomenal piece of work, and is definitely the greatest war movie ever made. In 3rd place, we got Schindler's List. This film is the perfect representation of what happened during the Holocaust, and it's definitely one of the greatest films ever made. In 2nd place, we got The Fabelmans. I know I shouldn't rank it this high, but god damn it, this film stuck out to me on a personal level, and it deserves to be this high on the list. And finally, in 1st place, we got E.T., the Extraterrestrial. This film is the definition of a childhood movie. When you think of Spielberg, you think of this movie. And I am always going to cherish this movie for years to come.